What about now? Are you still in touch with that boy? Sienna asked with a playful smile. The model's smile was devastating. The moment she aimed it at me, I felt a jolt. No, I said. I moved to the city for school too. For my only memory of the clean freak boy was a vague nickname. The show was scheduled to film for about 2 weeks. During that time, all 8 of us would be living together in a large villa. After the tour, it was time to choose rooms. Leo the finance Rose suggested with a grin. Want to make it more interesting? How Ethan chimed in. Even the usually composed Nathan raised an eyebrow. We'll number all the rooms and draw lots. Let fate decide fate. I like the sound of that. The producers had originally told us to decide on rooms amongst ourselves. The rooms were all different, some larger, some smaller, some with private balconies or walk-in closets. Sienna said the first to agree. Drawing lots is fair. No, one can feel like they got the short end of the stick. No one else objected, and neither did I. This internship was a dream come true. No real work, a good salary, and free room and board. After numbering the rooms, Hannah found some paper and a pen. And just like that, we had 8 folded slips of paper. All right, let's begin. We'll go in order. Ethan, you're the youngest. You go first, then we'll go clockwise. Ethan drew the first slip, followed by Hannah. By the time it was my turn, there were only 3 left. I picked one at random. When everyone had a slip, I unfolded mine. No, 5, a guest room on the 2nd floor. Nathan had drawn the master bedroom on the 2nd floor, which came with an ensuite bathroom, a small balcony, and a walk-in closet. Hannah was also on the same floor. Nathan, ever the gentleman, offered to switch with one of us, both Hannah and I immediately shook our heads like bobbleheads. We agreed. I said, whatever you draw is what you get. We have to follow the rules. Sienna drew the master bedroom on the 3rd floor, while Ethan and Rain got the other 2 rooms up there. That left Victoria and Leo on the 1st floor. Leo seemed pleased with the result. He grinned at Victoria. Looks like we'll be close neighbors for a while. Victoria was the picture of a wealthy heiress. Her looks, her mannerisms, and her family background combined to make her arguably the most eligible woman in the house. After the rooms were assigned, we all had some time to unpack. I was about to haul my suitcase upstairs when I heard Leo offer to help Sienna, who had 2 large bags. Miller, let me help you with that, a voice said. Suddenly, before I could react, I saw Victoria effortlessly lift my 24-inch suitcase and start up the stairs. She had taken off her suit jacket, and the sleeves of her blouse were rolled up to her elbows as she lifted the bag. I could see the defined lines of the muscles in her forearm. Damn, was it possible to be this cool? Is this even allowed? 5. Nathan carried Hannah's suitcase upstairs for her before even touching his own. It was only the first day, but the initial pairings seemed to be taking shape. I didn't have much luggage, just clothes, makeup, and some toiletries. While we were unpacking, the lift feed cut to the observation room where the 4 celebrity commentators were, excitedly placing bets on their favorite potential couples. This Mellor girl is interesting. Her hobbies are a bit unique. I think she and Ethan have potential. They're around the same age, so they should have a lot to talk about. I don't know. I see a weird kind of chemistry between her and Nathan. Are you kidding? Nathan and Victoria are the real power couple here. They're equals, but Victoria and Ethan have that classic mature, older woman and puppy dog younger guy vibe. What about Sienna and Rain? 3 of them were debating animatedly when one of them called out, Liam, what do you think? Before the man in question could answer, the first commentator added with a laugh, that story the girl told about the neighbor's kid who was obsessed with hygiene sounds a lot like you. A little bit of a clean freak, a little bit of OCD. The man sitting next to him was leaning back casually in his chair. He was young, with a face so handsome it was almost unfair. He was idly spinning a pen in his hand. I just like to be tidy, he said coolly, his voice clear and smooth. I wouldn't call it a phobia. All right, whatever you say. So which couple are you rooting for? It's too early to tell. No wonder you're single. After I finished unpacking, I went downstairs to find that most of the others were already gathered. Dinner was provided by the show, a sort of icebreaker meal to see who liked what. I was starving. My eyes were glued to the dishes on the table, and I wasn't the only one. Beside me, Ethan was inhaling his food with gusto. This braised chicken is amazing, he mumbled through a full mouth. Guys have to try it. And the spicy boiled pork, it's so good. If you can handle spice, you need more of this. Even the rice is good. Poor kid, he must not eat well. Usually, as everyone knows, when one person at the table is eating with that much enthusiasm, it makes everyone else's food taste better. And it wasn't just Ethan. I was devouring my food to tears of joy, practically streaming down my face. This was the best meal I'd had in ages. Suddenly, a piece of meat was placed in my bowl. I looked up confused into Hannah's kind, almost maternal gaze. Eat slowly, she said gently. When I looked up, I realized the other 6 people were watching me, and Ethan noticed at the same time and looked up. Embarrassed, my company usually has me on a strict diet to maintain my figure, he explained. He was only 20, the poor guy. The cafeteria at my school is not to my taste, I said. The cameras weren't rolling. I would have been more honest. It wasn't just not to my taste, it was an abomination. It was the kind of food that made you feel sorry for the ingredients that died in vain. It was the kind of food that made a lot I shudder. Years after graduation, and the campus was so far from the city that our delivery options were limited. Ethan and I exchanged a look of shared trauma. We were fellow sufferers, united in our culinary misery. The chat was probably going wild. This is not the dating show I was expecting. What kind of lives do these two kids lead? They're eating like they've been starved for weeks. Is the food that good or is their daily life that bad? Maybe the show should pivot to a food theme. Watching them eat is making me hungry, and Laura is my classmate. I can confirm, our school's cafeteria is genuinely terrible. I didn't spend the entire meal just eating though. I eventually joined the conversation. Hannah mentioned that she loved to cook and often invited friends over for big meals on her days off. That both Ethan and I lit up. Really, can we be friends? Me too. Can I be your friend, Hannah 7? After dinner, we each had a one-on-one interview to discuss our first impressions of the other guests. This part wasn't live streamed. Please give a brief evaluation of the other 7 guests, the director said. When asked to judge people you've just met, anyone with a normal level of social awareness will stick to vague platitudes. I rambled on for a while, and by the end, I couldn't even remember what I'd said. If you had to choose one guest to go on a date with, who would it be? Now that was an interesting question. I'd choose Victoria, I said. The director started to say you can't choose. Before he could finish, I switched my answer. Sienna, the director's face was a blank mask. You can't choose someone of the same sex. You could have led with that. Maybe it was my lack of professional experience, but I have momentarily forgotten the nature of this show. I consumed so much diverse media online that I just remembered. Dating show, not heterosexual dating show. My own preferences are flexible, but I chose a woman because I genuinely enjoy spending time with other women. My childhood aversion was a phase. I'd grown out of it. Okay then, Ethan. I said we seemed to get along when it came to food, so we probably have something to talk about. Please state your reason. He's handsome, has a great personality, and even though he's the youngest, he's always looking out for everyone. But Ethan is an actor. His job might require him to be away on set for months at a time. If you were to date, you'd have to deal with long periods of long distance. Are you okay with that? I propped my chin on my hand. Director, you asked who I wanted to go on a date with, not who I wanted as a boyfriend. There's a fundamental difference. The director seemed taken aback by my player response. He stared at me, visibly stunned. After my interview, he had to talk to all the other guests. By the time he was done, he looked like he had aged 10 years. I wonder what he went through. After the interviews, there was another activity. We had to go to a wardrobe room prepared by the show and choose an outfit for our potential date. The villain next door had been rented for this purpose. At first, I thought the producers were trying to be mysterious, but then I overheard a staff member mention that the neighboring villa was originally for a different film crew. The lead actor had a scheduling conflict, so filming was postponed. To cut their losses, they rented it to our director at a waste not. Why not? This villa was much more luxurious than ours, clearly designed for a drama about a wealthy, dysfunctional family. As I walked toward it, I saw a tall man dressed all in black emerge from the front door. It was impossible not to notice him. His long limbs and perfect proportions were not something you see on an average person. As he got closer, I recognized him immediately.